we're going to ask you, we just have this collection of Star Trek magazines, and we want to know what they are. Can you explain that? They're Star Trek fanzines.
Okay.
Just anything you want.
All right.
We have about 200 of them.
Yeah.
Can you?
Star Trek, after it was taken off the air after only 3 seasons, had so many fans that really were into it that they did amateur stuff in which they made fanzines, in which they were edited by amateurs. The stories were made by amateurs, and
Did you write any of the stories yourself?
A couple,
Did
yes,
you?
but
Okay.
I did the clean ones.
You did the clean ones?
But I got to admit, most of these fanzines that he is offering for sale are KS, which means Kirk/Spock. In other words, love does not need to be heterosexual to be love.
Okay.
Yes.
So that makes them even more interesting to a certain group of people?
Yeah. Just like men like to look at lesbians, women like to look at heterosexual. Anyhow, hey, I was in love with Spock. I was a kid. I loved Spock. Anything with Spock in it, I would have gone for anyhow. But hey, throw in Kirk. Woo! Hello! Added pleasure, added fun. So anyhow, but there are regular, what I would call more normal adventure stories in which, you have adventures, there are some but once I got into the genre, I kind of leaned for the K&S stuff, so that's the main part of the collection.
And so we found out by doing a little research that most of the women that did these magazines were...
A lot of them were simply amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a couple of them went more professional. Hey, they started out in this genre and, not in writing, and became
general
authors.
Some of the illustrators are now famous, aren't they?
I think so. I'm not too sure, but I think, hey, some of them deserve to be famous.
We have a Robert Aspirin story. We have a Phil Folio story.
Oh, okay. So these are people that have gone on to bigger things. Yeah.
Well, what gets me is some of the art of Spock and Kirk. And Marianne, you saw the first time.
Pretty erotic, yeah. It's a little bit startling, I guess is the word. Some people would find it very startling.
But on some of the better stuff, you can't beat it. You really can't. I mean, it is erotic. Really erotic. Turns you on. What the heck? That is the purpose of some of this stuff. But
and just in a couple of weeks, there's going to be our Kirk and Spock's new movie.
Right. It comes out when in May, I think.
May 8th.
May. There's a new movie.
Oh,
and it's going to focus on the Kirk and Spock relationship.
Oh wow!
But I
bet they don't do it the way we did. Hey,
I bet they don't either.
What can I say? Fanzines were there before they, fanzines were being made even before they put out those professional logs.
Right.
Well, isn't it really the professional logs when they start putting out the books that put the fanzines to bed? Or was it the internet that put it together?
I would say the internet has done more to put the fanzines to bed than anything. And the price. Let's face it. It started out cheap. You could put out a fanzine fairly cheap and sell it.
All you needed is a copy machine or a mimeograph machine.
Yeah, something like that. And then I really honestly, I outgrew it. As simple as that. I outgrew it, and now For all I know, it's out there going hog wild and still going strong, but I don't know about it because I kind of drifted away from that whole thing because I was what? I was a teenager when Star Trek came on. I fell in total love with the whole Star Trek stuff. Like a lot of people did.
Millions
a lot
of people.
Yeah. This is why you have fanzines. This is why you had them after 20, 34, or 30 years to finally make the movie that everybody said, well, why don't you make a movie? You know, but it's hard to say when you're a kid and you fall in love with creations on TV. It can affect you. It can very much affect you. And there were a lot of people who thought they saw a love type of thing, you know.
Between Kirk and Spock.
Between Kirk and Spock, hey, buddy in the trenches, and hey, if you want to look around, you find a threesome in which McCoy is there too. Hello.
That's right.
And Uhura.
Uhura, I think it's in some of them too.
At that time, I honestly felt that Star Trek was the best thing on TV ever for a long time. I really did. It did break a lot of new ground. And you have people in NASA who were raised on Star Trek. That's why they went to NASA, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The first
Interracial
interracial kiss
kiss.
was that. Somebody said, hey, why not have a Russian on? Hey, they're in the space race too. So Roddenberry put a Russian in there. And this was in the middle of the Cold War. Hey, everybody hated Russia. Everybody hated Russians. You know,
But there was Russian.
there
was
an
Asian.
You had the idea of tolerance, which appealed. You had the idea of eating, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. I believe that. I picked it up. Infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Great idea. Why in the heck don't people push it, you know? And a lot of spiritual stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really spiritual stuff. In a era where the only place you got spirituality was church, and you let it at the door, so to
You
speak.
didn't live it every day.
Yeah, and it looked like it was being lived. And these are heroes. Okay, you can take that.
So when were the fanzines being written? Then after the series had been off the air, right?
I think it was.
It's like people couldn't get enough, and so
People
they.
could not get enough. They, like I say, in a time when you honestly did not see too much heroism in real life, they were our heroes. And then they took them off the air. Excuse my language. Those idiots, you
And
know.
it took a long time to bring them back.
Yeah, and there were enough people out there to make fanzine, F200, like you say. And those are the ones I got, and that I'm one person. And I know that there were lots of fanzines I didn't get. I'm one of those things. Give me a fanzine.
So who knows how many are really out
So
there?
who knows how many are really out there? Now, right now, hey, we're talking about a collectible in the sense that these were put out as an amateur thing, and they only had a limited run.
Right.
In other words,
There
you
wasn't
can
thousands
go.
and thousands
There's
of them.
not thousands and thousands of them. Each one had probably maybe 100 to 200 at the most to spread out. And how many of them have disappeared because hey, you get paper, you get somebody throws them out. Hey,
Or somebody's wife finds them or something and says, these are
Exact-
going, you're not keeping these.
Exactly. The reason why I handed these over is because I know that my poor kid, if I die, will be so embarrassed that he could not,
Okay.
so,
Finding those in mom's things would be a little bit more than he could handle. Huh?
well, he knows I did them, but on the other hand,
Doesn't want to be face to face with it.
if I die, I know he's gonna burn them, right there,
Oh, okay.
you know, he's
And then
gonna
they'd be
take
lost
them.
forever.
Lost forever.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how many KS fanzines have been burned quietly
For that reason.
for that reason. So if you sell these, you should be getting a bargain because, hey, there's probably not that many of them
Many
left.
there.
Well, thank you, Jenny.
Thanks very much for sharing that story with us.
You're
It was great
welcome.
to hear it.
Okay.